Hi, I'm Joe Navarro and welcome back to my channel. One of the things that I always insist on is for those who study body language to become really familiar with at least 10 behaviors that sort of become their go-to behaviors that they immediately recognize. And those of you who are graduates of the Joe Navarro Body Language Academy are very familiar with these because these are my personal go-to behaviors. And the first one is eye touching. And this is a behavior that I have been studying for a long time, where all of a sudden somebody says something they don't like to hear, or they're troubled by, and they'll begin to touch their eye. Or if it's really bad, oftentimes you'll see them where they press their eyes in this fashion. I like this behavior. It's indicative of psychological discomfort, and the pressure they're applying to their eyes stimulates the fifth cranial nerve, which helps to calm them down. So it's my first and one of the most visible tells that I've seen, but it's often misunderstood. The next one is lip compression, where oftentimes you will see an individual, they hear something or they're thinking about something and they're compressing their lips. Lip compression usually associated with something negative. The next one is lip pursing. And lip pursing, usually you see, and it often follows lip compression, where they will begin to purse their lips forward, and often it signifies that there's something negative, or they've already made up their mind. In any case, anytime I see that those lips come together and they're pursed a little bit, it lets me know that there's something negative there. What it is, it's for me to find out. And then there's the lip pull. And this follows lip pursing, where the person will dramatically purse their lips forward, and then all of a sudden they just pull it to the side by doing this. One of those behaviors that I've seen around the world, which is indicative of a high degree of discomfort and dislike, or that the person has definitively made up their mind, and usually it's quite negative. The next one that I really like, and it's probably the least studied, but it's extremely accurate, at least it is for me, is how often we see jaw shifting. Somebody will be online on the phone talking to somebody, or maybe they're being sold on a product and they don't like the product, and you'll see maybe some head nodding, but there's jaw shifting. And jaw shifting puts pressure on the TMJ, usually associated with something negative, or that they have already made up their mind. The other one I'd like to talk about is one that I started to write about last year for Psychology Today. And it's one that I'd been reluctant to talk about. I'm not sure why. But notice when people go from touching their face, which we do all day long, to all of a sudden scratching the face. Very significant when we shift from touching to scratching. Usually when someone says something or we're asked a question that may cause us harm or may cause us difficulty. I remember the other day my neighbor said, hey, can I count on your help this weekend to help you move? And I was touching my face, and all of a sudden I found myself scratching my face. Extra touch, the physicality of scratching is more self-soothing, so it helps us to deal with greater stress. The other one that I found remarkable that nobody had written about it until what everybody is saying was how often we touch our necks when we're having difficulties, when we fear something, we're apprehensive, or we feel threatened, and we will touch our necks. Men do it more robustly. Women tend to touch this little area right here called the suprasternal notch. And we do it in real time, such as, oh my gosh, look at that, and so forth. The other behavior, again, that I've mentioned many times, and people still miss it because they focus so much on the face, and that is watch the hands. And I look for people who are talking about something positive, and I look for their thumbs. But when their thumbs disappear as they're talking about something positive, then this creates doubt in my mind, because thumbs, as I often say, are the exclamation points of our body language. And anytime our thumbs disappear, it says to me something's not quite right. And then, of course, many of you have seen me talk about the steeple and how universal it is in reveal that we feel confident about something. But be careful with the steeple. I remember Angela Merkel of Germany, who steepled all the time, and people actually began to make fun of it. Steepling can be very accurate. It shows we're confident, but it has to be used wisely. And then the one that I've talked about, which again deals with the hands, which most people miss, and that is the TP hands. Not when they're moving fast, because this is like we're really excited, but when we interlace the fingers and the movement is very slow, very deliberate, and there's a lot of pressure, it indicates that something is wrong. So there you are, 10 behaviors. They're easy to learn, they're easy to master. If you're unfamiliar with any of them, go out and validate it. Watch foreign films and notice how these also appear in foreign films. Test, validate, let them become part of your repertoire so that you don't have to think about them. So I hope you like this episode, and please subscribe, and we'll have some more information for you on this, the Joe Navarro Body Language and Human Behavior channel.